Yep, looks like I'm live. So what's going on, everybody? Jared James here. I feel like I've been doing these lives like crazy lately. I will say for all of you that are on here that are on my team, make sure you are watching because I'm seeing a lot of people requesting to join the group last second now, and they don't want to miss this. So make sure we're keeping an eye on those notifications and allowing people in as they're coming in. But I wanted to, I've been doing first off, guys, those of you that are watching, just kind of like this, just comment below where you're coming in from. I'm always interested in that. But I've been doing a lot of trainings lately, and we're all in this situation right now where we're in quarantine, and there's it's just unprecedented times. And I've been doing these trainings really kind of all over the globe and trying to tell people what they should be focused on. And one of the things that I've said is that I think that this whole quarantine, this whole COVID thing kind of exposed how client focused our schedules were. And what I mean by that is everybody's kind of like, what do we do now? Because we're not meeting with clients. And yet it exposed how like almost everything that was on our calendar was client, 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 client. And once the clients weren't there, what do we do? And it goes back to what you guys have heard me say a million times. You either run a business or you run around. And if you found yourself in a situation where now that you're not meeting with clients, you weren't sure what to do, it shows you just how much we weren't focused on the behind the scenes parts of the business. And yet I say all the time that the number one mistake that people make in real estate, whether they're brand new or whether they're 20 years in, is that they don't understand that our industry is about boats before fishing. Okay. And what I mean by that is, you can only catch so many fish before you need a bigger boat. Okay. And the same is true within our businesses. Everybody's going, how do I catch more fish? How do I get more of that? And yet the truth is that's leads. And without the infrastructure, without the boat, you're never going to be able to do as much as you could have. And you're always going to be trying to chase your own tail and go to bed at night and, put the kids to bed and then start working on your computer, managing your transactions and doing these kinds of things. And yet we live in a different world now. When you look at, what do you call it, the order of things, the infrastructure that we created for people in relation to their real estate businesses, we changed a very crucial thing. And it used to be that we said that the first hire that you make in that org chart, that organizational chart, was an admin. And now we say that's the second one. The first one is a TC. It's your transaction coordinator. And that doesn't matter whether you're day one, day 20,001, like transaction coordinator is first. And there's many reasons for that. One is because what makes you great as an agent is what makes you terrible as a transaction coordinator. And every moment that you're spending coordinating that transaction is time that you're not spending either creating business, growing bigger, or just relaxing, spending time with your family, doing those things. And the reason why it's number one is because there's no risk at all. Like when you start talking about getting a transaction coordinator, there's absolutely no risk. Like you don't pay anything to set them up. They meet with you. They set up your full charter or the full process of how your transactions go and what you want them to follow. Like they do everything with that. If they start doing a transaction, it doesn't close, you don't pay. And when you're busier, you pay more because you're doing more transactions. When you're slower, you don't pay anything. And so I thought it'd be really good during this time, because I've been telling everybody right now that it's time to focus right now on building the boat, on the infrastructure, which doesn't only mean I did a training on your CRM that you all should watch, but it also had to do with this, getting your TC set up. Because when this surge comes and we hit play on the economy again, some of you are going to be more prepared from an infrastructure perspective. You're going to have a boat built big enough that you're going to be able to do more transactions in 2 months than you've ever done in 6 months. And others of you are going to come out and start trying to do business like you always had, and you're going to miss a lot of opportunities. Okay. So I thought, how can we do this? How can we get this information out to people? How can we have it make sense to them? And I was talking to, a lot of I run a marketing company too called Jarja Media. A lot of you use the CRM, you use our marketing services, you use us for PPC, you use us for all of these things. And so we launched this transaction coordinators as part of that company last year. And it was honestly one of the best things we've ever done and one of the easiest things we've ever done as far as, how well it transitioned. The people that we worked with, they've just been raving about it. So I thought, what do we do here to kind of get this out to people? How do we help people and get information to them? And so we decided to do this. We're going to answer a lot of questions. I'm going to bring on in a second here one of our TCs. I'm going to ask him some questions. I'm going to allow you guys to ask questions as well. Then I'm going to bring on one of our other TCs with one of our clients that actually uses them. And I'm going to interview them, and I'm going to allow you guys to ask questions. And we're just going to make this a safe place here where a lot of you that have known that you should do this, but you weren't really sure, how it works or what to ask or any of that stuff. This is where we're going to do that. So with that being said, guys, I am going to invite on here Mr. Ken the Nemo. Let me grab him real quick here. Give us a second, guys. We are doing this live. Okay. So I think here we go. Ken, you there, man?
Hey, here I am. Can you see me?
Look at that background, man. Look, what are you on, the USS Enterprise?
No, we're in the newsroom today. The Georgia Media newsroom today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Ken, you are actually one of our TCs. I'm going to try to do this in a way where I can actually pay attention to the questions in the group too, because I know that they'll be coming in here. So you are actually, it's kind of a different situation where your son, Tom, who a lot of people who have the CRM work with and love. I mean, Tom's an awesome guy. And we put an ad out for TCs. When I decided to build the department, I was like, you know what? This is something we can offer. We can do a really great job at this. So I put out some ads, and you responded. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background first, like what made you interested in that before we kind of get into this?
Sure. Well, for years I worked for GE and IBM as a project manager. And then after leaving IBM, I became a real estate agent and love the real estate industry, and became an associate broker. And from there, I kind of transitioned to, unfortunately, needing to work in the corporate world again. So I had to transition out. But then this came along when Tom posted this, and I said, hey, this is everything I know how to do. I could do it.
Didn't you really go to him and be like, what the heck? You don't tell me?
I said, Tom, you put this on Facebook. Why didn't you just come and ask me? I said, I'd be interested. Would you mind me working with you? So he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And so here we are. And I applied, and here I am. And like
funny thing was when I talked to you, I liked you a lot. And I actually went to Tom and I'm like, is this going to be weird? Like, is this going to be cool, or is this, whatever? Honestly, it's been, I think it's been fantastic. Unless there's some drama going on behind the scenes I don't know about.
No, not at all.
I think it's been fantastic. So
yeah, and with the background from being a project manager and having the real estate experience, just really, this job actually just pulled this all together, and I'm having a blast.
By the way, this will make you feel good. Kelly Weber, one of our coaches, just posted in the group, Ken is my TC, and he is a mess. Why did I ever hire him? No,
I think
she said, Ken's my TC. He completely changed my business. I wish I hired one sooner. I'd be lost without him. He is an integral part of my business. I couldn't be where I am today without him. Kelly, that's awesome. Can you just tell us really quickly, man, like, why do people, when people reach out, you guys do consults, that stuff? I mean, quite frankly, we filled you guys up. Like, I mean, it was just crazy, but like, why do people reach out? Like, what's the most common thing that reason that people reach out to you guys when you're doing your consults? Like, why do they think that they're reaching out to you? And does that line up with why they really need you?
They reach out as a kind of like inquiring, is this really something I need? And then I even get asked that question, why do I need you? Prove to me why I need you. And you try and answer as best you can, but you don't really know it until you start working with us.
I was going to say, isn't that backwards? Like when you say, why do I need you? Why do I, whatever, like when you look at TC, transaction coordination, because there's no risk to them. Like even when you guys do the consult and you set up your workflow and all that, they never pay anything unless they use you. And even then the transaction has to close. The whole point of that TC is to be thinking ahead. Yes, some people come in and they're already crazy and they're like, help. But anybody, the idea is I need to grow further than I could on my own. And I'm not going to be able to do that on my own. Just like you've heard me say many times, we don't all have 24 hours. We have the number of hours that we create according to our infrastructure. It's about getting another person at low risk and giving us the ability to grow further, and also making us look professional to our clients.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just me.
Right. And that's where I was kind of heading with that. I have those type of people who've inquired with us. Then I've had folks who are just like, yes, I need somebody, just, what do we need to do? Let's get started.
How do we start tomorrow? Yeah.
How do we start tomorrow? I got a transaction the other day, and I need to get this going today. And it's like, well, we got to get your processes down, that kind of thing first. But
because you don't want to get in and like have it be like a crap show where like you don't understand the process, you don't have the logins to the places you need to. Like, it's really about making it for them. Like what is your process? Because we're dealing with people all over the world. Like, what is your process?
Yeah. And every place is different. I mean, you have attorney states, you have title states, you have now with this COVID-19, different states are now coming out with more addendums on that. And you have to be ahead of that curve and you have to read these things and know what they're saying and how to respond to their clients when you can, or if you can. We can't answer any detail contract information, of course, because we're not licensed in those states, but we can answer some high level questions.
And by the way, that's an important thing, because people are like, well, are TCs licensed? There's no way the TCs could be licensed when they're virtual. They'd have to be licensed in every single state everywhere. But it's not a problem at all. Just the only thing is, you guys will not get into explaining a contract to a buyer or seller, because obviously you can't get into that. You can't get into signing it you can't get into, like, as far as when it comes to the contract stuff, you can pass stuff back and forth. You can make sure that stuff is signed like it should be and nothing's going through. But we are not going to get into explaining contracts or anything like that, because that you have to have a license to do, and it's not worth us risking. Even if you know what you're doing, it's not worth us risking anybody's license.
And that's correct. And we do take the dates from the contract, so this is already signed and everything, and we just put that into a part of an email that we send out to the buyers or sellers. These are dates you need to look for, and these are what's going to happen on those dates. But that's about the extent of what we really do with that, except to ask for a signature or something of that effect. But that's about it.
Okay, so can you tell me kind of like, what does your day-to-day look like? When you're a TC, like what's it look like for you?
I get a ton of emails from every single client asking me to do something 10 minutes ago. No, I'm kidding. I love all my sometimes. So we do get that on occasion, but pretty much it's getting new transactions in, getting those on the roll, starting that going, following up on closings, following up with lenders, following up with title or attorney's offices as far as dates and what if we're gonna make those dates and such. Keeping inspections on task and on target for our buyers.
How do you know to do all that stuff? Like, because one problem with agents is that they have a certain quality of service they deliver to people, unless they get too busy and then they start skipping things.
Right.
And so, like, how do you know what needs to be done? How are you staying on track?
So what we do is we set up a workflow doc with our clients, our agents, and they spell out how the transaction is going to flow. And it's a living doc, which is really cool because we could change it. And then from that point, once we have that,
meaning like you'll make suggestions, or like as you get in, it's like, hey, maybe we should be doing it this way, or a lot of times once you actually get into a process, it's like there's a better way to do this, like that kind of thing.
I've done that. I've also organized filing and the way they are setting up their CRM or their file system, whether it's .loop or back agent, follow up boss. There might be, I've had them where they're all over the place, and just let's organize this a little better, and we've done that. So we, like I was saying, in this workflow doc that we create,
you want to just like show people this, like, is that possible? Because I'm seeing questions in the thing going like, how do you do it state by state, country by country? Like, how do you know what each individual agent wants? And so why don't we just give people a little bit of a taste of like what you start with? This is kind of boring, guys, but it's what you need to see and hear. Like, how do you, for each individual agent, create a custom workflow that is specific to them? Because you've got places where they're ordering signs down, then you've got ones where they take their own down, and then you've got ones, like you said, it's attorney, you've got other ones that are title states, you've got other ones that, it's all over the place. So how does that work?
Yeah. So what we do is I have this workflow doc, which should be up there right now. There it is. And what we do is once we talk with you and have our consults. Our second, we'll send this document out to the agent, and they can go over it and see what they like, and what tasks that we could do for them. This is a skeleton document, so this hasn't been tailored to anybody. But we'll just take this listing to contract. So we have an agent who has a listing. They've gotten all the paperwork signed. They've uploaded it to their .loop or whatever. So we'll take it from here, and with the user IDs that the agent provides us on this document, whether it's an assistant's ID or their ID, it all depends on the state. Some states don't allow use of MLS in that, but that's for another conversation. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll confirm all the paperwork is uploaded and it's all signed, all the I's dotted, T's crossed. Anything missed, we get that and follow up with the seller. Oops, sorry. And then
and that what you're showing right now is listing to contract, which is different than contract to close, because we'll do listing to contract, we'll do contract to close, we'll do listing to close, dual agency. Like it's basically you set up a workflow for every situation, so you have it specific to them.
Exactly.
And what about, I heard you mention .loop earlier.
Yep.
Do you have people that are using different programs? Some are using SkySlope, some are using .loop, some are using like is that, can you work with multiple different programs depending on what they individually use?
Absolutely. I use Zip Forms, .loop, Backagent, Follow Up Boss.
Whatever they use.
Whatever they use. And if it's even one that we haven't played with, they're all basically the same.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you input the document, you upload it, download it, send out for signatures. It's just a matter of the process to do so.
Isn't it true that when you first work with someone, the more involved they are on transaction 1 and 2, the less involved they have to be moving forward? Meaning, like the more details they can give, the more like specific, and then they can just kind of let the reins go, and you could say, got it. Like now they can just kind of go free and trust you, right? Like Kelly wrote, I can't imagine my business without you.
Exactly. And you know, like for example, on here, the number 3 is to schedule a photographer for listing. So I'd have all that information from the agent, and you know, here's the listing, go forth and conquer. And I'd go out and
so it's actually on here. Like when you say photographer, when you say a sign going up or down, when you say a contract, whatever it is, like you actually take this document and you find out from them who is the person, what is the number, what is the this. And so now you have a living document that's not bare like this. This is just the starting template where not only are you following a step-by-step, but you have logins, you have phone numbers, you have email, you have whatever for every single person you need, so you can take care of it.
Yeah, and originally I was going to pull up one of those, but with everybody's user ID and such on there, I couldn't do that. So so I thought we'd just use the skeleton. And some of these things get taken off too, like schedule staging. Not every agent does staging, and so we'd get rid of that. Once this doc is completed, what we'll do is put it into our CRM, the Georgia CRM, and it will automatically send us notifications of what's going on for that day for that transaction.
So if you know something has to happen on a certain date, or something has to happen 7 days prior, or something has to happen, whatever, you're basically every day looking at your CRM and it's telling you, call this person, check in on this. The inspection is due in 2 days. Make sure they remember to whatever. This one's like every day you're going off of checklist for all of your clients and making sure everything's handled.
That is correct. And so, like I said, this is an initial document, and it's tailored to whatever their business is and how they run their business. I'm going to just jump down to a contract to close real quick, because listing contracts basically, in a nutshell, is getting all the information into the MLS, get the pictures in there, and activate, make it live by once we get the approval. So the contract close is a lot more involved, of course. So again, we go into their to wherever they have their documents, make sure all the I's are dotted, T's crossed, set up reminders for all key contract dates and deadlines on whether it's a Google Calendar or a CRM of theirs, and we get that all set up for them. We confirm again the paperwork, and it's sent out to whomever needs that to be sent out to, such as an attorney or a title company. We
And
introduce
if they allow you to, you'll actually be touching base with all of these people. Like you can talk directly to the seller, directly to the buyer, directly to, unless they tell you they don't want you to, but there's really, it makes them look good that they've got such a professional person who's on board and keeping everything in track. It makes them look like they're a professional person, like they're running an organization.
Absolutely, and no email that I send out or that we send out is always copied to the agent. There's
so they always know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we can get the attorneys and the title companies to reciprocate, that'd be great. But we have a lot of chasing we have to do.
How many steps are on this this one you're looking at right here?
This one has 52, I believe.
So I asked that. I didn't even know the answer, but I asked that because the average agent's not doing 52 different steps. They're doing what they remember to do and the ones that are most important that they can't forget. But the idea is to not, again, to give the same experience every single time. So that, because you remember, not only does this free them up to create business, but because it's so organized and so professional, they get more business, more referrals and everything else because people like working with them.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's also freeing up the agent from having to do all these tasks and to make these deadlines or to check on these deadlines, and allowing them to continue to build up their pipeline. So that's more business for them.
Yeah, which is awesome.
One of my clients has doubled her transactions since I came on working with her. Last year, I think she did about 15. That was the whole year. And this year so far, she's doubled that. She's done like 30 or 35 at this point.
So far, meaning we're in April.
So far, and we're only in April, right? So
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's take the screen share off here. I'm going to bring another two, but I want to say thank you to you. Stay in the queue over here because I might bring everybody back in at the end for a Q&A if people have questions. But I wanted to have you on here, man, because you do such an awesome job. I meant what I said before. This was the easiest department I've ever started. Like you guys make it so easy. It's I literally don't hear one negative. Like with anything you do, you're gonna hear a bad review or somebody who's having a bad day. I have never heard one bad review about our TC department. Like it's absolutely amazing. So
we are a great team together. We enjoy working together, and it is a lot of fun. We do have fun.
That's awesome. Our whole office, man, we have a good time.
Yeah, we do, absolutely.
Everybody on here, we'll be doing happy hour at 4 o'clock today on my profile. Come join us. All right, stay over in the queue over there. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. Maybe we'll come on if people want to see a more in-depth look. But at the same time, too, there's a link in the title for this Facebook Live where they can go on Jarja Media /transaction coordinator. They can set up a consult and really kind of see, it doesn't mean you're going to get Ken. It doesn't mean you're going to get Marlena. You're going to get an awesome TC. So thanks for coming on, man. Just hang out in that queue for a minute.
You got it.
All right, let me invite in over here, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring them in right now. Here we go. Come on in. Guys getting unmuted. Let me see here. All right, you guys on?
Hello.
Hey, Steve, Ashley, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Now that is much better lighting.
Flip it around.
Oh my God. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
You guys are actually in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Right, we are.
Nice. So we'll see you in October, obviously. But this is also down at the bottom here. We have Miss Marlena. Marlena was actually promoted to lead TC because she does such an awesome job. There you go. You're a huge reason why this has been such an easy transition doing this. So thank you to you. You want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everyone.
I knew that you were just going to literally say whatever I said.
Yeah.
Like if I was like, say goodbye, you'd be like, goodbye. Like,
I would be really confused if you said.
Yeah. Marlena's really quiet until she's in the middle of happy hour and or you run into her and her dad at a bar.
Yeah.
Then she'll yap it up. But so I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to have you on here because you guys are real life experience here. You guys kind of took a chance on us when we just launched the department. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I want you guys to be very honest. I want you to talk about what that experience has been. I want you to talk about what it's been like with Marlena, unless you're going to hurt her feelings. But can you guys kind of tell me what it was like what your days were like prior to having a transaction coordinator? Like, were you working, and just be honest with me, were you working the same hours, more hours? Were you doing more transactions, less transactions? Like, these questions I'm asking, I don't even know the answer to. So this is dangerous, but give us kind of a glimpse of what that was like.
I mean, we're both workaholics. So I don't know that we're working less now. We're just working on different things now.
Right.
Okay.
You know, we're 7 days a week, you know,
Working
all,
late.
all day long.
Just go, go, go.
Yeah, it is what
That's
it
just
is.
who we are. That's not going to change no matter
Please.
how
Yeah.
much infrastructure we have.
But I'll give you kind of a little history. So I've been in the business almost 19 years. Ashley's been in over 10 years. We've made a whole lot of mistakes over the years, of course. We tried transaction coordinators many years ago. It just didn't go well for us. So we had kind of shifted gears over the last few years, and we had an admin that probably had way too many responsibilities on her, too many different types of jobs.
It was just like one more thing for them to do. You were like, all right, now you guys handle this too.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And so, you know, things would fall through the cracks. You know, we'd end up, and so much of it was just, you know, we had stuff in our heads that, you know, it's what we do, you know, so we just kept doing what we do.
Us, right.
And so, you know, she did the best she could with what she was given and all the other responsibilities she had. But she ended up moving on to another opportunity. We brought in another admin. She was there for 3 months, and then she quit and went back to a previous job because they threw a bunch of money at her. And so we were like, you know what, this is just insane. We can't have all this in our head and have to, you know, retrain. And we're still, you know, we're trying to do administrative stuff all throughout the day. We're spending hours and hours every night when the kids go to bed trying to catch up on paperwork and all these kinds of things. And so we started just kind of brain dumping onto paper, like, let's really get real granular with our process. We're very big on creating an experience for our clients. So we've got a pretty detailed process that we like to follow for the buyers and the sellers. And so we were trying to figure out, you know, do we want to go back to just one person that's trying to do everything, or is now an opportunity to look at outsourcing, bringing in multiple people for different roles? And
was this around the time that we launched was it like good timing? And I also want to know, like, before we even move forward with that, why did it not work out previously with other TCs you had used? Was it your fault, their fault? They just weren't the right fit for it. They weren't organized enough. Like, what was the, and I don't, like I said, I don't know the answers to these weren't set up.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious.
Honestly, I think it was a bit of both. You know, it was just, we didn't have the processes defined clearly enough. There's too much in our head. And it was the wrong
point. That's a great point. Like, it wasn't defined. So it wasn't defined for you. It was kind of like, you just thought that if we got this TC, it was just like, you know, should they know what to do, or should they, like, whatever, like, it was one of those kind of things, like when someone hires an assistant and they're like, just organize my database.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, we've always had our experience defined, but it's not really a step-by-step. So when things weren't working out with TCs and our other admins, and I'll say our admins that we hired before were boots on the ground here in Nashville, and they were able to really engage with our clients on a different level and do some extra things. And they were set up more to be a concierge than they were transactional coordination, right? So when we had them before, we had our experience, but we didn't have a step-by-step. And so things were still on our plate, number one, but still getting lost in the cracks because there's so many steps involved with just getting staging set up.
Well, I mean, like Ken just went through like a 52 step, you know, whatever. And I'm sure half the agents listening were like, 52 steps, like what the heck is on that? Like,
right. I don't want to guess how many steps, but it's bigger than that.
Marlena knows.
Your guys is bigger than that. Marlena, how big is their steps? Like, what's
They have different action plans that get started at different times. So some action plans are like 26 steps. Some is 47. So they're all different, but they definitely have a lot of steps.
So it's very customized to them, I guess, is what we're saying. Like, it depends on what happens, and then this happens, and then so you have to sit down and customize it and say, this is what it's going to be now.
Yeah, over the course of like listing to close, there's probably I don't know, 7 or 8 different action plans that will get implemented at different times depending on what's happening. So
is it the same as it was when you guys first like started with Marlena, or did it change once you started working together and like you guys were making suggestions, she was making suggestions, and we're like, let's perfect this thing? Like, what was that?
I think that it was amazing that you guys had a template to start from, because that helped us realize some of the holes that were missing in our experience and our action plans before. We're like, oh, we didn't think about that.
Do you know how often I hear that, by the way? Like, it's one of the most common things I hear when people, it's one of the most, like their closing ratio is really high, that when they have a consult with someone, someone's like, you know, because they look at the step-by-step and they're like, I'm not doing that. Holy crap, you're going to do that every time? That's not, oh my God, like you're going to send that out every time? And it's like, you know, the important point I'm trying to make right now is that when you do the consult with the TCs, it's not like they get together and go, so what's your process? And now there's all this pressure on you to throw together 37 steps. They're literally going to walk you down and go, here's what you're supposed to be doing. Now, do you want to add something? Do you not do it this way here? Do you want to? So that was helpful for you.
It was wonderful. We were really able to collaborate, and it was amazing that I think TCs in the past had their process set up, which didn't always meet our experience. And so the fact that Marlena was willing to intake some of our processes and work through our process was the big thing for me. Because
were you worried about the fact, knowing that and knowing the experience you had previously, were you worried about the fact she was virtual?
Yes,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a leap, but the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, we were kind of looking at going down that direction, and you guys announced, and then we ended up going to advance, and
I was slowly losing my mind.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's whatever. Did Marlena smile on the consult?
I think it was just over the phone. I don't
remember this.
Yeah.
I think you guys were in the car driving, and then, but you were also like showing, as we were going through the workflow, you were showing me like how to actually like do certain things, because I wasn't fully aware of like how to do it the way that you wanted me to do it. Like when it came to like listing things in the MLS and things like that, like I remember having like just screen sharing with you guys and just walking through the steps together.
Like I said before, right? The more involved you are in the beginning, the less involved you have to be later. But I made that as a joke, because I'm always saying to them and her and everybody, because you're going step by step by step on this boring crap. And like, so in the beginning, they would send me the consults and whatever. And I'm like, great job. Smile next time. Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm always like, smile. We just brought on another person. And Marlena calls me and she's like, I already told her, smile. Like, I'm like, I get it. You guys are step-by-step task-oriented people, but right now you're a salesperson and you need to smile, you know, like it's just so interesting. So then do you guys, when you're doing this, you're setting up the whole, you know, the flow, that kind of stuff. How long did it take? You know, you guys sound like you had a really in-depth, like how long before you felt comfortable with Marlena?
Honestly, well, so we started with Nora.
That's right.
Just for like a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and honestly, that was going really well. And then Marlena stepped in, and we were pretty comfortable after a couple of transactions. Like, wow, why
have I not done this sooner? This is incredible. I'm a bit of a control freak in that.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I like things to be done well. And so it took a lot for me to trust and to give up, you know, to have that confidence that things would be done well and to our standards.
Yeah.
And I'm also the type of person that understands everyone's human, everyone's going to make mistakes, and that's fine. I'd rather have you come to me with 100 questions a day than assume something and something not be done correctly. And I have to say that Marlena is great about asking questions like, hey, I just want to clarify, do you want it done this way, or do you want it done this way? Or do you want me to handle that? Or, you know, we just have amazing.
So that gave you a confidence, like when you were hearing that, you're like, oh, good. So like she was competent, like she knew what was going on, but when it came to, it was really about your process.
Yes.
So she's like, I know how to do that, whatever, but like for you,
yes,
you want it like this. I'm so glad to hear that, because that is one of the things that like I, in the beginning and whatever, I'm like just ingraining in the head. I'm like, it doesn't matter how that's done. It doesn't matter how that client does it over there. It doesn't matter that this one uses dot loop and that's how they do it. How do they do it? That's all that matters.
That's
awesome. Has it affected your business? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, her being virtual and being part of your organization, honestly, was probably a better situation for us, because we've just had hiring just sucks. I mean, it just does. Trying to find talent, even recruiting agents, just trying to find the right people. It's terrible.
Finding TCs is tough, by the way, because I can't just bring in anybody. Like I need them to, they're a certain personality profile. You know what I mean? Like they like I said, what makes you guys great at what you do is not what makes them great at what they do, you know? So it can't just be someone friendly that whatever. They've got to be very task oriented, very on the ball, very self-driven, have a lot of pride in their work. They've got, but they also have to be able to deal with people and be friendly because, they're going to be dealing with your clients and dealing with, that kind of a thing. So, and that's actually why I wasn't planning on bringing this up. But you guys originally had a different TC and I got rid of her in like a week and a half.
We were literally on vacation with our family.
Oh, she's gone. Oh my God.
Oh.
when we're not on this like live, go ahead and ask them how quickly that happened.
Seamless. And we're so much. I mean, she was fine. Whatever.
No, she was. But it was a team thing. Correct. It was like we take it very serious from like team culture, the whole thing. Yeah. And because for me, like if you're not fitting there, you're also going to be working with other people's clients and other people's things. And that's another team as well. And so it's not just enough that my point in saying all this was that it's not just enough for a TC to be, very detail oriented and those things. They also have to know how to operate in a team and how to keep that, that stuff moving and everything going well and everybody's vibes going well and everybody's, that's why I asked how long did it take you to really kind of get comfortable? Because I was curious about that. Like what was, did she do, it was because she asked questions and really wanted to know that was the answer?
Yeah, I mean, just her willingness.
It just felt like she got it really quickly.
Well, and her willingness to learn our process and wanting to learn. I mean, that's everything, right?
And it's what they're doing all day, every day. Like I always use the example when I say, would you use a doctor who set the appointment and then met you at the check-in and then took your insurance info and then took your weight and height and then took your, and then diagnosed you and then came in with a scalpel? You'd be like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like different people are great at different things. And it's not your job as an agent to be great at managing that transaction. And it's actually what's holding you back from doing more, which is the lead into my next question, which I might've just screwed myself because I don't know the answer to this. Has it affected your business in a positive way?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We did.
What does that mean?
Last year, we did about 45 residential transactions, a little bit of commercial as well. This year, our goal was to do 100 transactions.
And we're on track.
Yeah, we're well ahead of schedule for that.
We scheduled to do 100.
We waited the front of the year more heavily, this being an election year. You kind of
not knowing anything about COVID.
Yeah, this was before the.
We just knew we had to hustle at the beginning because of
Yeah. So I mean, do you, and I mean, this is a God's honest truth again, like for everybody watching right now, this wasn't set up. Like you guys, we didn't do an interview beforehand where, like I met with you yesterday and said, here you go, say this, do whatever. So all of these questions are a risk. I just knew that you guys have been using us since the beginning, and that must have meant that, things are okay, which is good. Do you, and I'm just completely God's honest truth, do you directly link the idea that you're able to do more business or able to focus on different items to the fact that you have a TC?
Yes, no question.
Like honestly, that's like,
we are not.
And what was that like? How do you feel like, is what you're doing daily changed now? Are you able, I know you said you're still going to work all the time. That's how you guys are made, but like, are you now focusing on things that create? Are you doing more FaceTime with your people, or like, what are you doing different?
Growth. He's been able to step away completely from residential transactions. I've just taken over the and we have a team of agents who are on our team. We have a small team here. So he's been able to really focus on growth and recruitment and retention.
Focus on the business, like actually like growing the business.
Yes, working on the business, new technologies, new opportunities, new everything. And I've been able to train the team, lead in sales, get out there and get it done. And just, we're still working the same amount, like we said, but we're working on different things. And I'll say this, it's always our goal to anticipate everything our client needs before they know they need it. And Marlena does that for us. She is to a point where she knows what I need before I even know I need it. She's like, don't we need to destage that property? It closes in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh yeah. And maybe it's the action plan, but I feel like there's more to it. Marlena is just,
No, she's on the ball. I mean, obviously we use action plans. I mean, their job is checklist, the whole thing, but like it, again, you know, a robot can follow an action plan. Like there's more to them. You know what I mean? Like they're the right personality profile where they're looking out for that stuff and they're thinking ahead. And again, it's why it's made it the easiest department we've ever launched, because they, you know, you take people who are naturally organized and naturally thinking ahead, and then you launch a department and they just naturally are thinking about what we need in the department. And we need to have these workflows and we need to have this way and we need to, it's, you know, so I get to experience the same thing you guys experience because I'm working with them, which is awesome. We're all going to kind of hang here. The people that are watching, we're going to kind of go into, you know, answering questions for people. So I want you guys to hang on if you can, so we can do that. I'm going to bring Marlena. I'm going to have you actually in a second. We're going to go over pricing with everybody and how it works. Okay. I'm going to bring Ken back in here. So give me 1 second here, guys. And by the way, guys, we're still doing this and everything, but I just want to tell you guys, like, thanks for being open and honest and everything.
Absolutely.
To the people that are watching right now, we're going to go over pricing and how this works, but I want you to start posting your questions in the feed below. I'm going to start taking a look at them as well. We'll start whoever the best suited is to do that. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, like every single person watching, you owe it to yourself to at least do a consult. Like it doesn't cost you anything. When I talk about boats before fishing, and I talk about now is when you focus on really getting yourself set so you can handle the surge when it comes, or even just in general, whether you're day 1 or day 20,001, now is when you do that because it's free. They're going to sit down with you. They're going to go over the workflow. They're going to work it all out with you. They're going to customize it to what you actually do. And you're going to get kind of a taste of like, holy crap, like, why aren't I doing this stuff? This is amazing. And if nothing else, you can steal some of those ideas from us. But in a perfect world, you're going to have a better way of running your business. So there's a link at the title of this Facebook Live. I believe I put it on there. It's jarjamedia.com/transaction coordinator. It's right in the title here. Just go fill out for a consult. It doesn't cost you anything. When I say there's no risk in having a TC, what I mean is this. We're going to go over pricing in a second, but doing contract to close, if you get them involved, you send them a contract and they start doing a contract. If it doesn't close, you don't pay anything, which is crazy, right? The only thing that you pay for, you know, prior to something closing is if you have them do what we call listing to contract, which means a listing comes on the market or it's going to come on the market and they need to prep it and do all the steps they need to do to get it ready and on the appropriate places and everything else. That's a separate fee we'll talk about in a second. And that has nothing to do with whether it closes. That's put this listing on and you don't have to handle it. So Marlena, do you want to take a second and just kind of tell everybody what the pricing is like?
Sure. So for contract to close, that's $350 paid outside of the HUD and everything like that. It's paid by credit card. Then there's listing to contract, which is $150. That's paid upfront. Again, with a credit.
How is it paid? When you say it's outside of closing, can you kind of explain to them how that works? So it's not put on the HUD, it's not or whatever. Like, how does that work?
Right. So it's something that is totally separate from the HUD, and we run the payment on our end through our systems, and we put a credit card on file. We always ask before we run it, unless you just kind of give us the okay to, once it closes, just go in and run it. But yeah, so we'll always get permission to you. We'll get confirmation that the contract has actually closed and that everything is completed on that end before we even run the payment through.
So contract to close is $350.
Yeah.
And that is paid outside of closing afterwards on a credit card. That's if it closes, it happens. If it doesn't close, it doesn't happen. And, you know, for you know, them on here right now and the other people, they're like, you know, that's a small price to pay for like everything that person takes over. Listing to contract is $150. And what happens with listing to contract? What does that mean for the people watching right now?
So once you get the listing paperwork from your seller, what you would do is you would send it over to us and you just be like, hey, I got a new listing. So once you send that over, we go in and we run the payment of $150 through the same credit card that we have on file on our end. Okay. And then we just start working through the workflow process. And if there's anything that comes up along the way that you want us to do or whatever, or anything pertaining to the checklist, we could go ahead and make those adjustments in the workflow and continue to move through the process.
Okay. And what about when somebody does, you know, all the way from listing to close?
So a listing to close, you would be charged the 150 up front, like you would if you were just doing the listing to contract. And then once the transaction itself closes, you would be charged $300 versus $350. So you're saving $50 by using us for both services for listing to contract and contract to close.
And how about situations where somebody is dual agent?
So dual agency, that's $450. Again, paid when the transaction closes. We're not charging you $350 because we're working with the sellers and with the buyers, so you're saving money there.
So instead of $350 twice, which would be $700,
Right.
you're still doing both sides of the work. You're dealing with the buyer and the seller, but it's just going to be $450. So you're going to save $250 when you have a dual agency.
Right. And if you are going to use us for the listing to contract portion, it's still the one with a dual agency. It's still the $150 up front and then the $450 when it closes, because you're already getting the discount. So we don't take anything off in addition.
You do know that on our company group chat right now, all they're talking about is, oh my God, she speaks. You do realize when we get off of this, that's all.
Yeah.
You're going to come to a stream of like 30 messages of like, oh my God. Like
they make
Marlena is
stats
talking
about how many words I say in a day.
All right. So somebody asked the question, and this is always interesting.
Over under on that number, by the way.
Yeah. It's about 4. It's till happy hour. Then it goes to about 400.
Yeah.
So no, I literally ran into Marlena at Eli's Tavern, and she's usually so, you know, quiet and, you know, whatever. And she was at the bar with her dad, which was awesome. And she was Miss Chatty. I loved it. I was like, oh my God, we saw a different side. But anyway, so somebody asked a question, and it's a great question. And it's something that we always talk about with all the TCs as well. And they're asking about hours, right? Like, you know, what happens if something needs to be done on a weekend? What happens if, you know, how do you guys handle that?
Well, what we do is we're on an on-call basis in a sense after hours. Our office hours 9 to 5 basically, but come the after hours weekends, we'll receive an email. Something is urgent. Send a text. We get right back to you as soon as we can. That is, and it's on a case-by-case basis on the level of severity in the process. So a lot of times we'll just go ahead and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, or if it can wait until Monday or the next morning, you know, then we'll just hold off to do it then. And sometimes you do want to check in with the agent and just to say, hey, this seems urgent. Do you need it now, or do you want us to? Can we do it tomorrow or Monday, whatever?
Yeah, and that's a great answer, because that's pretty much almost verbatim of what we teach and train, right? Like I told you guys when you came in. You're 8:45 to 5 o'clock. You're in the office. It's about our culture. It's about our, you know, whatever. But this is not a 9 to 5 job. Right. And so it's a real balance between making sure you're available and you know that you're there for that, because real estate agents, let's face it, they go 24/7. But it's the ability, especially once you have the relationship, of being able to determine this is absolutely priority, and it needs to be. I got to drop everything and do it right now. Which sometimes does happen, right, guys? Like that's, yeah. And then there's other times when you realize this is not time is of the essence. We can handle this tomorrow morning, or that we can handle this, and it's not a big deal at all. So it's really on a case-by-case basis, but we're fully aware that we're dealing with real estate agents.
Right.
Real estate agents are not exactly 9 to 5, right? So
we'll personally vouch for that too. I mean, she's been amazing at getting things done after hours and on the weekends when it needed to happen. So outstanding.
But the reality,
yeah, Marlena, go ahead.
Most emergencies that real estate agents and realtors think that they have at 9 o'clock at night or whatever, nothing can really be done about it until the next morning anyway. So as long as you're setting your client's expectations and you have your expectations set with your TC, then it works pretty smoothly. We've never had an issue.
Yeah, you know what I find too is that especially when you have a TC, a lot of those emergencies, some of them are avoided just by the fact that there has been such good communication and that there has been so many things done on time. Like a lot of those emergencies come from the fact that agents forget to do things, or that, you know, now it gets up to the last hour and it's like, oh my God. It's like it really should have been handled last week, you know? Who works with Danielle? Dublos Favo.
I do.
I'm probably saying the wrong thing. She said money well worth it. As far as a TC goes. We had a question that came in. By the way, another good one from Kelly about communication. Ken is awesome at staying in touch. We have another question that came in about commitment. They were asking the question, okay, great, you work with somebody. Do you sign a contract? Are you now committed to that person? What if you hate the TC and they don't do a good job? I know the answer to these questions, guys, but I'm going to throw them out to you.
So we have you sign a TC agreement. It doesn't obligate you to anything. It just states that we're independent contractors. And if you don't want us to work on a certain transaction, you don't have to send it to us. And if for whatever reason we're doing a terrible job, you can just stop sending us contracts whenever you want.
There's no obligation, basically.
Right.
So the contract is basically just so that they agree we're independent contractors. We don't work. We're not a W-2 employee with you. But ultimately, the commitment is the contract, meaning their contract, meaning their agreement, meaning when they send you a contract, you're working on that. But once you're done with that contract that they're doing, they don't have to send you another deal again if they want in their life. It's, you know what I mean? There's nothing holding you. And that's why I said, guys, and it's a no-brainer for every single person watching to see how your life can change if you allow the people who are good at what they do to do it so you can do what you're good at. So
there's two to that. And the question was, what if you don't like the TC that you're working with? And since you haven't received any complaints about us, everybody loves us. It could
it could get that in there. Did you get that
in there? But it could come down to, hey, I'd rather work with a female versus a male.
And that does happen, by the way. That absolutely happens.
And we're willing to
change gender.
And I'm not going to change gender. My wife wouldn't be too happy about that. We'd be able to switch things up for you. We don't want to lose you, and we want to make you happy.
I think what Ken is saying is that he's willing to identify differently if it means gaining your business, because that's how committed he is. Is that what you're going on record saying, Ken? I just want to make sure. Anyway, all right, guys. I got a lot of people going. We're going to do a consult. We're going to do whatever. So I want to say one more time to the people watching right now, the link is up in the title here. We're trying to give you as much valuable information without being an infomercial, but this is it's so valuable that would you just give them a shot? There's no risk. There's no $500 up front and doing whatever. What are you waiting for, right? Yep. So the link is up there. Schedule a consult. One of our TCs, you don't pick which TC you want. One of our TCs, they're all awesome. We'll be in touch to do a consult with you. It's 100% free. They'll go through all the steps. They'll customize the whole thing. Any closing remarks by anybody on here? Is there anything that any of you want to say as we close, or should I just close it out? I'll anything? No?
I have a question actually for you.
Yeah, go for it.
You're clearly really good at hiring. Can we just outsource our hiring and recruiting to you guys?
Oh God. I wasn't expecting that one. That's a good one. But anyway, I wish, man. I wish. That's another business down the road. Let's get this one. Let's get this one rocking and rolling. But it actually, it is. That's why we keep hiring more people. So that's awesome. Guys, any other closing marks? Are we good, or should I? The comments. We've got 109 comments down here, but the problem is with this Facebook Live, it only lets me see the last 4 or 5. It won't let me go look at the other ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I have any other. We're gonna have to go through the comments and just answer them separately. So we'll do that. You guys are in the group. You guys can do it as well. Any other closing comments, guys, before I close up here?
Like Jared said, just fill out the form and send it on. One of us will get back to you if you're interested in talking about it. Just no commitment. We're here to help if we can.
Awesome. So let's make sure we do that, guys. And for a lot of you, like I mentioned, we'll be live at 4 o'clock on my profile, the one that I'm posting from, not in the group, but on my actual profile, 4 o'clock, doing happy hour with the people at the office. It's a good time, guys. During this time when there's so much craziness and seriousness and everything else, these happy hours, I heard someone complain once that You know, when's he going to start teaching on these happy hours? They're not what it's for. Okay. Like literally it's a little levity. Like, let's just relax and enjoy the rest of the week. So that actually happened, by the way. I saw you laughing, Marlena. When's he going to teach? God. So guys, thank you so much. Hang on here a second. I'm going to turn off live for everybody else, but hopefully we get a lot of people who decide to at least give it a shot, or do a consult at the very minimum. It's well worth it. I promise you that's the case. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody who's in the group. We've grown astronomically. We're almost up to 12,000 people in that group, where I think we were at 8,000 like a month ago. You know, so that's pretty crazy. Thank you to you guys, Steve and Ashley guys, you know, for taking a chance early on like that. You know, that was a real risk. So, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being willing to come on here, and kind of talk to people about your experience. I didn't know what your answers were going to be. You guys know I love you. Like, you know, thank you. Next time I'm in Nashville, I got to come say hello to you guys, but thank you. Seriously. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having
You
us.
always avoid us. You come to Nashville, you never come by the office. You know?
Don't avoid you. It's so crazy because like when you go all over, it's not like you just go there and you're sitting around doing nothing. And I always feel bad because I'll go to these different places and there's people there that are like, hey, come have a drink or come see this or come. And usually I'm like in and out so quick, or I'm at like a major event where like I have to stay there for their after stuff or their whatever. And I always feel terrible. Just know that I feel terrible. Okay. It's going to happen though. It's absolutely going to happen.
Cool.
Didn't I reach out to you guys last time and say, hey, I'm coming in. If it's at all possible, I'll try to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. It didn't work like that. Anyway, guys, hang on the line here. But to everybody else, thank you for being involved. Hopefully, you guys will fill out a consult there and give it a try. This should live here, the replay, for a little bit on our Facebook group. We love you, and hopefully, we get to work with a lot of you soon.